can't be real. Everybody knows monsters can't enter the boundaries of an arbitrarily defined village. No one's ever been attacked by a monster here.
But what if they could be?
What if they could be? What do you mean, what if they could be?
Hello there, my fellow hunters, and today we're going to talk about something risey that will make your interest in Rise rise, because it's a really interesting suggestion. Excitement!
Rise!
Okay, look. Shut up. Sorry, no, I love you all. So, Kamura Village. Yeah? We can run around in it with other hunters. We have, for the first time, a full-on multiplayer village. We're not restricted to a gathering hub. And this is, of course, very exciting. It's very exciting. But, I just said exciting. Oh, for God's sake! So outside of how cool this purely is to run around with everyone, it's not just running around with everyone. It is wire bugging around with everyone. It is riding your Palamute around with everyone. It is generally treating the village that these nice innocent people live in like your own personal playground.
Seriously, get off my roof!
And this is gonna be so much fun. It's a real breath of fresh air to not have some kind of weirdly segregated area that's for multiplayer only. It really kind of adds to that village life feel, and that's lovely to have in Monster Hunter. But here is where my question is raised. If you can ride your Palamutes around, if you can wire bug around, if you can use all the facilities from all 4 hunters simultaneously in the village, have all of that fun, can you unsheath your weapon? Can you use attacks? Can you have the full range of your hunter arsenal on display? Can you go up to Fugen, Hinoa, Yamogi, Hamon, Kagero, Kamitsu, and, well, wave your sword merrily in their face? Because it's entirely possible that you can, if you can do all of these other things. If we have this huge village map with 4 hunters running around it, why not let us do silly weapon things? Why not let the longsword players not just ruin your lives in hunts, but in the village too? It only seems right. But even then, you may be like, well, even if you can do that, does it really matter? Is that really the grounds of a little discussion? Well, to me, if the answer is yes, you can get your weapon out in the village, well then the next step seems to be, can you fight a monster in the village? And the initial reaction to that is, of course, well, obviously not. It's a village. But firstly, would it not be really cool if one of the hunting maps, and I don't mean just generally, but like a special quest during the story, like when Velkhana sieges Celiana, and there's the special arena for it that didn't see use again for so very long. If there was a one-off or 2 or 3 at most special quests where you actually have to defend the village itself from a monster that is running amok. And I don't think it's completely outrageous. Kamura Village is absolutely massive. It's got so much space. The corridors and like square areas and sections of it really do look like you totally could fight a monster in it. It's really set up in a way that to me is reminiscent of a map. And that has me kinda like, because what would be more fantastic than literally having a monster send you flying into one of the houses of the village? And obviously we're not going to go crashing through walls and stuff, but you can do the same deal of, you know, wire bugging up a mountain to escape a monster as you can wire bugging up one of the taller buildings to escape a monster. So why not actually have it so you're sprinting down the streets with this terrifying beastie charging after you? Imagine a Tigrex just straight lining down the road. Here's thunderous steps cracking the pavement as all of the NPCs have fleed inside to let you do the hunt. Hell, even the very roofs of this village have stairs on them for the hunters to use to navigate. Now that's obviously because, you know, this region use wire bugs and they have built the village to allow the hunters to do that, but it does have a few hallmarks of maybe. Now, if you're going to ask me straight up, do you think this will happen? Obviously, I would have to commit to no, because it would be a little bit crazy. But Kamura Village is huge, and we already have a base layer of hunters being able to do things in it that we have never seen before. But that by itself is not enough. For me, what makes me really think about this in a more than, you know, pure fantasy manner is
The Rampage!
Because this is very specifically, well, the Rampage is a catastrophic event where countless monsters attack the village all at once. People have lived in fear of it since ancient times, but nobody knows why it occurs. Kamura has fallen victim to this phenomenon numerous times as well, and especially the Rampage that happened 50 years ago came close to wiping out the entire village. The villagers are training day in, day out to prevent this tragedy from reoccurring, and they have built a sturdy stronghold to prepare for the next invasion. So, of course, the stronghold map that we saw with all the siege weaponry, some of it new, will be where we fight this Rampage event. Whether it'll be one monster after another, after another, after another, or hell, maybe even Monster Hunter tower defense as we churn through them with huge siege weaponry as they pour through the canyon. Of course, there is a map built to deal with the Rampage hook. But what if one of the monsters gets through that stronghold? What if it makes it to the village? What if one of the climactic hunts of the game is fight Magnamalo in the village? And this is also very much a stretch, but the areas that he's kind of walking through in his cinematics look very similar to the type of foliage around the village itself. But then again, I think that's just kind of the Shrine Ruin setup, so that's not the hugest indicator. But I think the Rampage does give us a precedent that if a monster made it through to the village, it would have to be taken care of. We have to fight Magnamalo somewhere, even if we repel him from the stronghold and it ends up being a normal map, which, let's be honest, that's probably what it's going to be. But if it was ever gonna happen, if we were ever gonna fight a monster in the village hub, it would be in a game where the main story hook is monsters going out their way to attack the village en masse after we've now been shown that we can use wire bugs and palamutes and have multiplayer village shenanigans. And I just think that's pretty fun to think about. What do you guys think? But for now, like you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I will see you soon. Please support the channel on Patreon if you wish to see it continue in the future. And until next time, a goodbye.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kinda relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.